Oh, would you look at that? And we're back, working on the lovely Camaro. Today, we're actually not doing anything crazy. We're actually adding parts to the car. The car has been doing great. I've been dailying it for about the past 2 months, just because I haven't had my truck and I've needed something to drive. Is that great? No, but gotta do what I gotta do. So, what are we doing today? Well, we have a Flashark oil catch can. With this car being cammed out, usually you do it on turbo cars, but with this car being cammed out and a fully built motor, I think it's kind of imperative to kind of help it out a little bit, at least to what we could do, just to kind of preserve this motor a little bit more. With the fact that I have not done it and it has not ran with one, I do got to kind of add one. I kind of want to see what the blow-by is on the car now, just because it's been ran for so long, about 6,000 miles, 7,000 miles now into driving the car without a catch can, and that's not great. So when we pop this throttle body off, just to kind of look over everything, I'll give it a clean. We do have the proper stuff of what we need to do, but let's get into actually what's inside of this box and see what we got. We actually got a nice package box. Box actually looks pretty good. I've had this for a little bit. You can see some dust on it. I've had it for about a week. It's been sitting inside. But we got it from Flashark. Let's go ahead and open her up. Got some actual nice push connectors. If you don't know, these you just pinch them on the sides. You can pull them off. Really easy to actually pull off. I actually like that. Same thing with this. You can see how this actually works. You can see how it actually works right here. Pinch these two sides, you can pop it off. Looks like it just pushes on the other sides. Got a nice little rubber grommet in the package. I guess you could say we have to run through something maybe. I don't think we have to run it through anything. This is possibly to be, you're drilling a hole and you're mounting it somewhere off to the side. You put this in there, it keeps the actual tubes from chafing or anything of cutting them. Let's go ahead and we'll set this off to the side. Some banjo fittings. And then we've got the actual mounting bracket. Oh, looky there. We actually have some instructions. What do we got here? Looks like it mounts off to the left side. Looks like it mounts off to the left side of the radiator right over here on the actual core support. With the bracket itself, what do we need? A 17 millimeter, a 10 millimeter, a 1/4 inch pick tool, which I don't think I'm going to need the pick tool. I might, we'll see. You can see it bolting up really, really nice there. And on the back, where do we look like we're going up to? Longer hose to the back of the engine. Okay, so this is actually connecting to the back of the head. All right, so let's get in the meat and potatoes, see what we got going on in here. The actual heart and soul of the catch can itself. She's wrapped up, and I went with a simple plain black one. Oh, nice. Looks like we got an inlet, outlet. Nice little drain plug with the Allen key. Let's see what we got for baffling in here. Should be just a simple design on the head. Yeah. So, here we go. Nice little simple design. On the inside with a filter, it looks like. And we have the actual catch can. I don't know if I need a Teflon this. This actually might be sealed. Hopefully this is sealed already. And that'll be nice. We'll see. But let's go ahead and pop everything off. We need to pop off. I want to take a look at the throttle body, get it cleaned, and see what we've got built up in there. So let's go ahead and get that started. All right, with our trusty little screwdriver, we're just going to come in here to this little safety clip, give her a little pull back while we're tugging on the other side. Pop that off. Go ahead and take our screwdriver, unzip this, pull her back. I'm gonna slide that off, set it in there. Which this was just clean and she's looking a little dirty. You can see through the inside really, really clear. She just has some surface stuff going on. I really do want to get another one of the cold air inductions, actual cold air intake, but yeah, this is what was on the car and this is what is still on the car. I really do like this. There was a glass plate here. I have no idea what I did with it when I rebuilt the motor, but the tab broke on it, unfortunately. So yeah, I have to get a new one. But of course that comes with time and some shmoney. You know, and that's what we're all working with. So let's go ahead and pop this one off. This one, I can just sit off to the side so I can get this tube off. We're gonna take the back one off and unzip it. Dang mosquitoes, man. We're gonna take the back one off so we could actually just pop this whole thing off. Oop, don't drop your other clamp because we're gonna need you. I'm gonna set her off to the side. There's a little plug on the back of the actual throttle body right here. Take your fingers, pinch her, pull her right off just like that. And now that leaves us to, on the front side, the throttle body is separate by itself and we could zip her off with our trusty 10 mil. Got to keep an eye on these folks because these go everywhere. You know, I just can't with these. They always disappear. Let's go ahead and loosen all of them. Make sure they're out of the way. And I'm actually going to get an extension, which I don't need, but I'm going to get an extension. All we're going to have to do is go ahead and zip her out. And if you're hearing the noise in the background, it's the AC. I am actually on the side of my house using my neighbor's house. That's actually being sold. So I'm using my neighbor's house and their driveway to kind of hide myself from the wind. And did I ask them? Yes, I have been parking here for a couple months because we've kind of been watching over the house where they're trying to sell it. But let's get a money shot of what's going on in here. Oh yeah, she's got some oil. Look at the back of that. That's not good. She smells absolutely putin-like feel too. That's not the greatest. So what we're gonna do is take a bunch of these towels. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna clean it out as much as we can. Try to dry out some of this oil. Really don't want to go crazy with it, but we definitely want to clean it up a little bit more. And there is a breather that is inside of here that you got to watch out for. I would love to take this off, but I really don't want to have to take everything apart right now. And I'm hoping it will clean itself a little better once we get going with the actual catch can. It'll start to clear up in here. That'll be nice. Just gotta make sure we're getting like all these little crevices because oil can hide in them. She's not crazy. Some cars I've seen worse where oil is just out the front of the motor. There you go. That's what I was looking for. I wanted to pop this off so I could look at it. Get her all cleaned. I'm gonna pop this back in real quick now that she's cleaned. And the green ones, 9 times out of 10 you can reuse. Let's get on to cleaning this throttle body here. All right, with the dry towel, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this back flange, get her all nice and cleaned up, get her all dried, because you can tell that's pretty bad. Same thing in here. Now I'm not worried about if I do move it. Some cars make you relearn a throttle body. Look at that, that's nasty. I'm gonna take some of our lovely parts cleaner here. I'm actually just gonna spray it on a towel. And these towels are really stout, so I have no worries about them ripping or whatnot. They don't give me a lot of stuff. I actually got these from a gentleman that runs a diesel mechanic shop. He gave me a whole box, and I have not used the whole box, but they have worked great and flawlessly for me. Look at that. She's coming out beautiful. I know this is not the best bench to be working on, but look at this bracket. It's awesome, and it has their actual name on it. That's pretty sick. The underside. This is pretty nice. So what we're gonna do is we gotta get this out, get the actual catch can out itself, and we gotta do some pre-assembly here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get those fittings that we saw, these 2 fittings here, and we're gonna get them assembled onto here. Do not fall. Stay. I don't want to scratch it. Let's pull these both out. Set this in here. Set our trash in here. We're gonna set one in there for now. I'm gonna just go ahead and go straight in with them. One's hand tight. And we'll grab the second one. What our trusty 19 millimeter, we're gonna go ahead and give these a little tighten. It's pretty tight. Same thing with this one. That's pretty tight. Yeah, these are tight. Make sure they're clean. They are clean. And what we can do is we can set it down, get it ready to be attached to the actual bracket. Now in here, we have the screws on the labeling. I don't know what happened, but I do not have the black screws that they show in the photos, so I hope these are them. I am gonna need these, but we will not need the grommet, because I'm not going anywhere fancy. Oh, we did drop a screw, oh no. All right, so we take this, we should be able to line up the whole, up, there we go. But we need about right there. So sit about to the front, where we wanna be. I'm using my trusty table to hold it down. Gotta do this with one hand. I hope these are right. Yeah, they are the right ones. Why they didn't give me black ones. I don't know on that one. I don't know about that. So this bracket is gonna sit in here just like so and sneak in between. I'm pretty sure this harness is gonna move, but it's gonna sneak in here and be attached here, and we're gonna have to clock this a certain direction. We might have to take the screws out and turn it one to rotate it to get this fitting facing this way, but we'll see what we gotta do. Let's get this zipped off. Of course, it's not very tight, but this little bracket comes off just like so. One screw, pull the bracket off. Aha! So this grommet, well, she's a little cracked on mine. Yours might look a little better, but this grommet pushes out from here, and I don't think we're gonna need this because this big metal part should carry that area there. Well, aha! I see. See, said the blind man. This grommet is actually going to go in here to replace the grommet for the radiator. So I stand proven wrong for myself. Let's go ahead and get this back in here. Come on, get in your home. Might have to pull the radiator a little bit forward. She sits on there pretty tight. I'm surprised. A little bit of finagling, she's on. Now that she's tightened up. That bracket's pretty solid. Oh, that makes sense why there was a rubber piece on the backside. It actually sits on the radiator. That looks a little more promising onto the way the actual can needs to sit. We're gonna have to verify, but we'll see. I'll get this third one on, and then I will go under the abyss and try to find the lost screw. Aha, I got it. Let's throw her on real quick. Get in your home. Just to sit there while we get you set up. I wanted to get a clear view of you being able to see these actual looped ports here. This right here goes to the intake, and this actually goes to the engine block. And they're actually little tabs you can push down and pull it off. So I actually have to be very careful, because when I did do the motor, I had to I think I used plastic weld to weld these back together and seal it back because I did break this. And it's held ever since, but I do have to be careful and I have to note it. So let's pull it off. Let's take a screwdriver and we can pop it off that way. I'm gonna pull this out of my way just so I get a little bit more free range. Just so I can get in here a little bit better. I'm gonna pull a little bit of these, couple of these tabs off, just to give us a little more free range. You can push, if you want to take these off, that's all up to you. I am just doing it so I have more room to work with. They're very simple to pop off real quick and move them out of the way. So now that I can get my engine, my fingers in here, all you do is pull that tab down, screwdriver and just pry on the tab. This one's a little bit of a stickler. There we go. Pop the both of these off, just like so. So now we can go ahead and you can see I did use plastic wood on this one to actually get it sealed. Looks like this hose is actually going to be the back hose because it has a bend, and of course it pops in just like nothing, but it does have a bend in the hose to get her on there. It doesn't, these hoses don't specify which one's in and which one's out. I'm just specifying on what I feel like is going to be what, because they legitimately don't have anything on them. So this front one, same process. Let me go ahead and make sure this is on top though. Same thing here. I'm gonna push this one on, lock it into place, and voila, we got these on. Now I did tuck these hoses back behind the tensioner because I feel like it would rub, you know, because this part doesn't move, but the front part does, and it was sitting like right here. I didn't like that, so I tried to tuck it back there as tight as I can. So now let's go ahead and see if we can get this on, position it correctly. Let's see if I can pop this off, maybe move this a little forward. So I did tighten this one by hand. I was messing with it. There we go. So she is up at the front and ready to be tightened. Same thing with this back one. We're just gonna go ahead and let's give her, because she's got a 90 bend. I don't like the way the 90 is bent, so let's see if I could twist this and maybe get a little bit of a rotation. There we go. We got a rotation out of her. So but you see that? That's what I was referring to. She's touching the actual tensioner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of push it back behind it, and I'm going to put it under the actual hose that's above to see if I can make sure she does not rub, because we do not want this rubbing on the actual belt itself or the tensioner for that sake, because then we're going to have major issues and have a hole in our hose, and all that would just not be fancy. But besides that, we got that figured out. I could probably zip tie it and get her assorted, get that nice and tight. Go ahead and tighten this down. Same thing here. I need a Phillips bit to tighten this catch can down itself. Let's get that tight. That's tight. Now we need a Phillips head to get this screwed on. We got to get our throttle body placed back on. Make sure you plug in your MAF. That's your MAF with the air intake. I think this is the air intake temp sensor. That's what I believe it is. I do not know. I have not had to replace it. And then we're gonna get our throttle body back in. Oh, gotta make sure you plug in the hose here. If you did pop her off, make sure to give her a little bit of a push back on. She's all the way in there just like so. In there like swimwear. This looks like it actually, this hose kind of holds it back to where this is not gonna come out. That's actually nice. A little bit of tight fit, but she'll stay. Let's get our throttle body. Get her on. Make sure you're installing it the right way. You know, I don't know what the torque specs are of these, but I'm gonna give them the little and call it good. All right, now that that's back on, let's go ahead and get our intake. Well, first, before we get our intake, let's just go ahead and get this nice little Caparuski on here. Our can here. Get her screwed in all nice like so. Get her nice and tight. I don't want her to leaky deaky. And then, last thing but not least, get our intake. Slide her in like so. Slide her in right there. Bada bing, bada boom. Mr. Worldwide, at a step in the room, you're grabbing the wrong tools, fool. Oh, bars. Let's get this tightened back down. Just like so. Ain't going nowhere. Get this stuffed on there. Get it up enough to where I can get the clamp back up here, because you know I'm gonna need this clamp. And she's backwards, but that won't cause any issues. So let's go ahead and make sure she's on there. You know, and if somebody wants to reach out and get me a new box for this thing, that'd be great. I would really love to have a new box, because I do not know how to weld aluminum, nor do I have a welder and am capable of doing it. Could I figure it out? Yes. But I do not have a welder. We're gonna go ahead and pop our little tube back on, and just like, there we go. Oh yeah, nice. Tight. Nice. Now we just gotta go ahead, get this little catch can bolted up, pulley, get her nice and snug. Go ahead and take our parts that we didn't actually, let's take the trash out, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna save these parts just in case, you know, something goes wrong. You always have your parts, and you got them in a nice box. You can label the box, PCV stuff, radiator mount. There's that. Let's get our tools away, put up, and then give this thing a start. All right. I love the sound of freedom. Now we do have some issues coming up in the state of Texas I do want to talk about also. We have California's emissions coming. Look at that. She's looking good. No funky noises, no weird idling. Idling extremely smooth. Looking good. All right, well, I call that a job well done. The install was exactly what I thought it'd be. Really, really simple. Tucks in there very, very nicely. Everything is a complete kit, comes in everything, a simple package, and ready just to be done. And it could do some preventative stuff that can be done to your motor, you know, as in blow-by coming up to the top and causing pre-detonation because you're getting the oil and a fuel mixture at the top of the motor. So, the other thing I do want to talk about is Bexar County. The state I live in is Texas, and San Antonio is where I live. Bexar County. Bexar County, they are doing emissions testing. What does that mean? California is known for their smog and emissions testing. What does that mean? Let's look at this. Well, you see these headers on the side? They are catless. And with that being said is, I have no cats. The car is tuned without cats. Now, this being a big issue because when I have to go get registered, again, which I am registered, the only thing is my sticker is not on the car because the state of Texas did away with registration. But particularly in Bexar County, they decided they're going to do smog and emissions testing. And they do a hookup to your OBD2 to see if your cats are turned on. Does that mean that this car might not be road legal soon? Yeah, it actually does, because we're going to have some issues. And I do not have the money to put stock headers back on this car, go get retuned, go do everything again. There's no way. No way. So how we're gonna get past it, I have no idea. What we're gonna have to do to be code compliant, whatnot, because I do want to avoid as many tickets as I can, because like I said, affording it is the big issue. You know, I have a house I'm building and cars that we're paying for and all the stuff that we're doing. We have a wedding coming up. The list goes on. Plus issues with vehicles. And yes, you pay to play. I understand that. But when it comes to the state removing stuff, and then now all of a sudden they want to come back and do stuff that's going to apply and be applicable, I guess you could say, applicable to cars that are 24 years and less older, you know. So the truck is fine, but this thing is going to be an issue. And how we're going to take care of it, I have no idea. So till then, see y'all next time. Peace out. Hope this was informational. Hope this helped out as much as we can. Go check out Flash Shark. They do have a lot of stuff. There it is again. Simple, clean install. Took about 15 minutes, but of course with filming and everything, it took a little longer. But call that a job well done. See y'all next time. Peace.